See, initially I was a doctor. I came from a middle class background, actually lower middle class background. I studied medicine in Osmania Medical College in Hyderabad. I scored one of the top percentiles, just like many of you. Then went to US. While I was studying, I found very expensive stuff, not well prepared, well maintained. I thought I could do the best job. So at that time, actually, I wrote a small 60-page book and I sent it to 100 publishers, all the publishers in the United States. That was the year 2000. That's when the computers and the internet was coming. Only at that time, my age was 25. So only one publisher responded to me saying that usually the books are written by people who have decades of experience in respective subject matter, has published a lot of research articles. Eventually they'll write this kind of stuff. But I like your enthusiasm. Keep it up. We'll see you in the future. Only one person responded. So at that time, then I was sitting in the library and new computers came. Said, okay, that's fine. Let's put it online. If nobody buys it, it's not the end of the world. The best way to learn yourself is actually to try to teach somebody. That's the highest form of learning. And I always had a goal that when I treat patients, I should not do any mistake. Even a single patient should suffer from me. These may seem simple, but these are the fundamental core philosophies that will shape you who you are and how the world will perceive you. So then I put everything online. I didn't want to give it away for free. Free has no value in the society, especially in American capitalistic society. So I thought I would charge $20, $25, something like that. And I put it, people started liking it. Then people went and told other people, this is very good. And so on. So eventually, as I was surprised, within 1 to 2 years, I made a lot of money. I was a resident physician. Usually resident physicians make around $40,000 at that time. And an attending physician typically makes around $200,000 to $400,000. By the end of 1 year, I was making more than my attending physician. So then I started hiring people, and then I went on to build some of the best company. But the core principle at the end of the day was to try to teach the medicine in a way. It's very easy, simplistic, visually enlightening, engaging. There are some innovative methods that I have established, and then later on I added more people. Then we built one of the best companies, a multi-billion-dollar company, makes a lot of money. We not only build the medicine and all the other stuff. Then I came to, the politics. There were a few situations in Andhra Pradesh that made me to compelled to come back and to participate. I won with the highest majority, almost 3.5 lakhs ever in the history of that constituency. Then, fortunately, I was offered in a MOS. And it's a different field because when I was studying for medicine or when I was building company, I never wasted in a single minute. It's every day is driven with short goals and other. Government is a little bit different. There are a lot of competing priorities, interests, and everything. But what I want to tell you, regardless of whatever the circumstances are, it all depends on how you want to make yourself known to the people. And your intention should be, see, there are so many people in bureaucracy or in the public life, but very few go to the top. People will remember them. People will respect them genuinely. And they will leave a mark in this world, one way or another. So these are the three things. And majority of the other people, they live comfortable life. Their kids will grow, they'll have buy nice car, house, nice clothes. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is up to an individual whether you want to define yourself to be the top 1% people, where you leave a legacy and you inspire so many people and you create something meaningful to the world. But that requires a lot of sacrifices. It would not happen just like that. My sacrifices means, in general, getting out of your comfort zone. For example, myself, right? You probably know I declared almost 5,700 crores worth of assets, government values. Probably if you count it, it's probably a lot more. But I had Rolls Royce car, I have beautiful house. Then I left all of them. And I campaigned in 40 to 43 degrees centigrade from March to May, 3 months. And at least 4 times I was almost close to heat stroke because I get onto the campaign morning 7 o'clock and I would do until 1:32. It gets to be a headache, then I stop. I know that I'm going to get heat stroke. The reason I did it is because I don't want to take any chance. I want to win with the highest majority. I want to meet as many people as possible. And then it creates something, whatever the ideology that I had, that my party or whatever must win with the highest, I wanted to achieve and I wanted to contribute that system. So like that, even here, whatever I am doing right now, it's a lot of work, unbelievable amount of work. And typically for an entrepreneur who measure everything every day, what did I do today? For those kind of people, it's problematic because you are working with so many bureaucratic systems. If I want to, let's say, for example, in my constituency, I want to build a bridge, getting the permissions, making sure DPR is done, then coming here, moving the file from section to section, getting approval, and then from there, getting the tenders constructed. So just to give you one project, one bridge in my constituency has been started 9 years back, and it's still incomplete today. I mean, these are the things that we're seeing, like years and years of. So what it takes is you need enormous amount of willpower and willingness to help people. If you have that and less selfishness, then you start getting into the top 10% of the people. That is the fundamental core. That your ideology, because that people will see that passion, everything is visible to people. Once you get that, and from there onwards, you have to put daily and weekly goals. What do I want to achieve by the end of this year, by this month, by this week? If you do that systematically, that's when you start getting your name into the world. Because 95% of the people do not have that discipline, that drive, that passion, that goal-oriented approach. So these are the things, these are the fundamental aspects to get to the next level. Whatever you want to do, I don't know where you will be going, different places you will go. So if you work along those lines, and then ultimately it comes down to the teamwork. Teamwork is the ultimate work. What I have seen in the government, there are a lot of egos for a lot of people. You spend a lot of your time in satisfying their egos rather than really focusing on the problems, people skills. So reading the room, what kind of people you have, whether it is your politician or your colleagues or your senior officers, and then ensuring their work is done is another whole art. That's nobody will teach you in your business schools and other places. That is where experienced people can guide you through that. In the process, what I have seen, people take shortcuts to get their things done. But once you start taking those kind of shortcuts and other, then you start diluting who you are. So that is where, if you really want to go a long way, you really have to pay attention to every detail, what you want to do in your life and why you want to do your life and what other people want you to know about you. So you need to have that kind of clarity first. Once you have that clarity, you work along those lines, even if it is difficult. What I suggest is, even if it is difficult, I always tell people to follow dharma ethics because those may not give you the best money in the world, but they will give you the best peace in the life. No one can touch you if you follow the right path of dharma. Very difficult for somebody to touch those kind of people, disturb the peace. So these are I have few quotes that I can always tell them. Laziness kills your ambition. You should never be lazy. You should structure this kind of stuff. Jealousy kills peace. And I want everyone, including myself, when I went to Usmania Medical College, my rank was 27. There are top 20 ranked people, they're genius. They study less than half of my time, but they do better than me. It was very hard for driven people to accept that fact. But the minute that you start understanding the world is such a random place, there are so many people that are smarter than you. Some may look, more handsome than you. Some may have more money. Some may have better character. Some may have better voice, better tone. So they're all possible. We just have to accept the fact that some people are like this. They're better than us. The minute you accept it, you start getting the peace. And then understand what is the gift that God has given to me. And then you build on that. And the third thing I want to tell you, leadership is something most people think they're born leaders. It's not true. Because when I went to US, I had zero leadership qualities, zero. All I had was drive and passion to help people. But all the leadership qualities I built on. There are a lot of great books, How to Influence and Win Friends. There's a book like that. You can read that and watch all the great people interviews, best leaders, right? Who achieve great things. You read them, you understand them. Then there are books, Secrets of Successful People. Once you read all of those leadership skills can be really cultivated. So if you get those good quality leaderships and you define like this, then nothing can stop you. At least it will give you peace. So the reason I tell you this is because always second richest person wants to be the first richest person. What does the first richest person wants to? He wants to retain in that first position. So there is nothing like, money and all that stuff. You can never count on it. So instead of comparing, create your USP, create value always for others. Value for others. This is another important concept. Anybody, the reality is people are selfish. 90% of the people, you take this standard deviation, 10-20% of the people are extremely altruistic. They don't care about what you give, but they always give what they have. And 10-20% of the people, you put the best laws in the world, they will continue to be antisocial, they will commit crimes. And the 60% are the people that go based on the systems, rules, and circumstances. But so like that, if you want to be the top 10-20%, if you can be the top 10-20% without anybody observing you, you continue to do what you think is the best given circumstances, the world will reward you and recognize you. It might take some time. It may not happen, within a day, a month, or some, nobody will recognize you. It requires consistent effort of good things for a long time for people to know you. So build on your USP, work on these things, but big picture on what I told you. And most of the times you will be very, very, very happy. This is my take. This is my life. I wanted to tell you. Do I have, everybody will have problems. There is nobody in this world that's devoid of problems. If someone is abusing you, I'm sure somebody will be abusing you. Every day, when you get into the government, it's always remember they are being abused by someone else. Okay, so always follow the positive attitude. Everybody has one or the other negative. Do not focus on their negatives. Always focus on because the minute you start focusing on the positive and negative, unconsciously, subconsciously, you will be developing your facial or body features, some negativity about that person. That negativity energy will be spread and people will feel it. But if you start thinking big picture, everybody has negatives, let's focus on the big positives of the other person, then your expression, your body language would be different. And that will create a lot of goodwill in the long run. So creating less number of enemies, creating as many positive people also will take you much, much longer than you can imagine. So these are all very subtle. Again, nobody tells you, but this is what I realized in my life. At that time, I did not know how it would be doing, but those dots eventually connect and you would be surprised and shocked